How's it going, guys? I start today's video with the bench press. So this is day two of my preparations for the European Championships in June. And what you're going to see now is all my sets for the bench press. So today I was doing 5x5, so 5 sets of 5 reps. We started things off at 80 kilos. The plan here was to essentially train as close to my top set. So one thing that I've been doing with my coach is ascending sets. So every set I'm looking to up the weight, with the aim of the last set being at anything between an RPE 6 to 7, and then slowly ramp that up as time goes by. So my first set was 80 kilos, then I did 90, and now we're at 100 kilos. And everything was feeling fine, to be fair. Feels good to now have 10 toes on the ground. Previously, I've always just been doing the Larson's press, and then I'll go for an incline press on my second bench session, and I always found it a little bit harder to use my legs because of the angle of where my body is. But now it finally feels good to actually have my feet down, use my leg drive, and try to push forward. So this will be my last set now of 120 kilos of 5 reps. So after that set of 90, I then did 100, 110, and then this was my last set, 120 kilos. So I could have moved a bit quicker. I think I'll just slowly progress that as time goes by. But yeah, the aim here is to try and get as much volume as I can, whilst obviously still keeping up the quality of work on each set. Then we move over to the Penlay rows. So very similar to what I was doing before, but this time around I'm now adding back off sets to this movement. So this was just a set of 12 at 90 kilos. Kind of wanted to work back up again rather than start off where I left off. Just cleaning up technique, trying to refine my form, build my confidence back up, and again, just slowly build the volume back up as well. One thing about training, especially when you jump on a new block, it's very important that you kind of start again. And when I say start again, you don't necessarily have to start from zero, but be very appreciative that you still need to build back up again, because a new block should indicate a new objective, should indicate working on areas that you may have not worked before, or also areas that have now been more apparent that you need to work on more. So again, you don't want to feel like you're constantly having to lift heavy, because again, you're just going to fatigue yourself further. So now these last 2 sets was the back off set. So that was a top set of 90 kilos for 12, and then I worked down to 70 kilos, and then now I'm doing my last 2 sets here at 12 reps again. Didn't want to go too light, so then I feel like, it's almost like I'm moving nothing. I still wanted to keep the weight relatively challenging. So those last 2 sets again are still feeling as if like I've really worked hard for it, but not so hard where my technique again starts to falter. So this is now my last and second set. And I say Penlay rows, a lot of times when people see my rows, it's they kind of look at it like, well, you're not really utilizing any momentum. And that is very true. For me, this variation where I'm staying as strict as I can, so I'm essentially just doing a very strict bent over row from a dead position, or as close to a dead position as possible, where you can see the plates are touching the ground, then I pull from the floor. Reason being is that I just want to really get my body as tight as possible to understand every single time how to pull the weight off the floor. And I really found this has helped my deadlift massively, especially from the starting position. And also as well, it's just made my back a lot stronger. Then we move on to the accessories, doing some plate loaded lat pull downs. And again, I wanted to stay as strict as I can with this movement to really isolate my upper back. Then we get into the single arm presses. This has been a big staple for me, especially where I started developing slight strength imbalances between my left and my right pec. Then we have the front raises. I feel like it's one of those exercises that kind of go under the radar when it comes to improving your bench and also shoulder strength as well. So I've started to carry on with this and see how far I can push it. And then we have the bicep curls on the preacher curl. I know sometimes it can be quite tedious and boring working on the smaller muscles, but trust me guys, still work on them as they help massively. And now I've reintroduced the Louis push-up. So this is just an arm wrapper push-ups. intrigued to see how far I can take this. And that concludes my session. So thanks for watching, guys. Like, share, and subscribe.